Hey, what's up, guys? You're listening to the It Takes a Village podcast. This is where the struggles are real, the callings are heavy, the kids are sticky. We come together because it takes a village, and this is your tribe. Hey, guys, I just wanted to hop on real quick because I have this feeling that February is just a month where, man, it can wreck you. It can mess you up. And it's because we are so focused on, sometimes it's Valentine's Day. Sometimes it's like the month after January and it's just like all the things, all the overwhelm. It's like the overflow month. And then put Valentine's Day on top of that and unmet, unfulfilled expectations. Not only for yourself, but like what you expect from your spouse, your significant other, your partner, and it can be a mess. And just to keep it real, some of you guys are going to spend more time preparing for Valentine's Day for your kiddos. Like you're going to go balls to the wall on making their little Valentine's treat. They're going to wake up in the morning. There's going to be a basket. They're going to have cookies. They're going to have a stuffed animal. They're going to have heart socks, all the things. And you're going to do the same for your husband. And then you're not going to tell your husband that you would really love to celebrate Valentine's Day. Like, I am not an expert at anything that I talk about, but I always start thinking about you guys and then I start thinking about myself and the things that I really need to work on and, just a lot of self-reflection. And when we assume that our husbands want, or like when we assume that our husbands know what we want, it's always trouble because they have no idea. They don't think like us. And if we haven't said, hey, Valentine's Day is a huge deal to me. Like, I know it's silly. I know you feel like it's silly, but it really is. My husband and I had this conversation about birthdays. Like, for me, Christmas is a big deal because we celebrate Jesus in our household. And that is the main focus for us. The gifts and all that is, it's like secondary. It's okay. But for me, birthdays are like top of the line. Like, you celebrate your day. That is your day. And like, it should be a big deal because that was the day that you were born. This is celebrating your life, another year of a great life. And so I had to have that conversation with my husband of like, hey, birthdays are a big deal to me. Like for him, they're not a big deal, but him knowing that it's a big deal to me, whether he thinks it's dumb or he thinks it's silly, like he respects that and he now knows that. So he knows that like, he can't mess this up, right? So he doesn't want to be in the doghouse. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to cause a fight or conflict. And so he knows, hey, her birthday is a big deal, so I got to plan it out. So if you don't tell your husband that you think Valentine's Day is a big deal, or if you try to think that he can read through your like on the sly messages of like, oh yeah, oh, babe, Thanksgiving. Oh, babe, Valentine's Day is not a big deal, like we could just hang out at the house. And you like say those things, but then inside you're like, oh my gosh, I hope he plans like this surprise Valentine's Day dinner. I hope that I come home and there's candles everywhere. Like, you guys, he's not going to do that because he has no idea. Unless you have a husband who is naturally romantic and loves to surprise, like if Valentine's Day is his thing, like if he really loves to go all out, then you have no worries. But for the most of us, we need to be very verbal about what it is that we want. So why I'm sharing this with you is because when I go on Instagram, when I go on in the Facebook group and I ask you guys how your Valentine's Day was, I don't want to have to I don't want to see you guys brokenhearted. I don't want to see everybody trying to pick up the pieces from this dang holiday that wrecked us all when it could have been totally avoided. So the lesson here is tell your husbands how you feel about Valentine's Day and be honest. If you don't care, cool. He's not going to care. It's going to be laid back. It's going to be what you want it to be. If you do care, make sure you let him know because otherwise he's not going to know. Okay, so also back to the self-care part of this episode. I know that we tend to put all our eggs into somebody else's basket, right? So like I had this habit for a long time of just finding my value, my self-worth in other people. And everybody will fail you at making you feel like the queen bee that you are. Like they just do. You can't rely on something or someone to make you feel like the person you deserve to feel like because that's not their job. They're not focused on you. They're not focused on making you feel 100% all the time. And where that comes in is that we need to take care of ourselves. We need to learn to love ourselves. We need to just be extremely proud of ourselves and the amazing things that we can do, whether it's that you birthed children, that you adopted a child, like all these things that you are capable. You can walk, you can run, you can build a business, you can bake the best cookies in the world, you can put on a mean school event fundraiser. Like we have all these gifts, and then we're just not focusing about how awesome we are. And so I wanted to talk about self-care, and also since we talk about self-care on this podcast a lot, I wanted to be clear about ways and hopefully I help you identify how, like, the different kinds of self-care that there are. So I just learned about this, and I recently read an article about it breaking down the different kinds of self-care that we need to fulfill our needs. So the first one is physical self-care. You all know that you get amazing endorphins from exercise, but if you are a very active person or you enjoy being active and you haven't been, you know how like down that can make you feel. And so this month, focus on, hey, I really need to get back to that. I really need to schedule it. I need to get my butt up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go run because I'm a better mom when I do, because I feel better about myself. I feel strong. I feel powerful, XYZ, you know, that sort of thing. So there's physical self-care where exercise and eating well is going to make you feel amazing. Then there's emotional self-care. How are you feeling? Like, are you stable this month? Are you just like mad woman? Are you going crazy? Are you stressed? Are you have anxiety? Like really focusing on, hey, my physical self-care is on point, but my emotional self-care kind of sucks. And I'm like extremely, like up, down. Then you need to focus on something that you need to do to fulfill your emotional needs. Spiritual self-care is the third one. So this is going to depend on your spiritual beliefs, of course, but this might include like meditation, going to church, or praying. Like if you've been feeling disconnected from your faith, from God, then you need to focus on that. I feel like this list is going to be a list of things, and when you realize which one you're lacking in, it's like the missing piece to the puzzle. The fourth one is mental self-care. So this is like something that I feel like goes along with emotional self-care, just because so many of us struggle with anxiety, depression, overwhelm, all that. So this taking care of your mental state is doing things like journaling, doing things that are mentally stimulating, Sudoku, playing chess, journaling. Did I already say that? I'm not sure, but maybe I need to work on my mental state. But if I think these are those things like journaling, taking time to really like focus inward and focus on how we're feeling, helps us to just be and exist and handle things that come at us when we have like, car line and pickup and drop-offs and games and practices and all that. So I think really taking the time to say, hey, what do I need mentally to make it through this month, and then the month after that, and the month after that, and like really making time for that. Okay, so then the fifth one is practical self-care. And for some of you, you're going to be like, that's totally crazy. But for some of us, it is therapeutic to do practical self-care, which is like things like cleaning our house, decluttering our office, deep cleaning our bathrooms, making a to-do list and like just knocking things out of the park. Those kind of things, like it really gives life to a lot of us when all of the things around us are done. So then all we have to focus on is us. When everything around us is not chaotic, when it's done and it feels clean, it feels organized, then it helps your life to feel less messy, helps your life to feel less chaotic, even when there is chaos, because you guys, like, we're not perfect. And we can only do so much. So I think that a lot of us find therapy in doing and getting things done, because we can say, hey, like, oh, my house just feels so good and it's so clean and it makes me feel good. And it just makes sense for a lot of us. The last one is social self-care. So if you have been a hermit and you have been neglecting hanging out with your friends, like you haven't seen your mom friend or your high school friend or your college friend in like months, then it's probably time, because you're probably tired of talking to your toddler or your kids about Justin Bieber and the Bubble Guppies. So I think that social care is, something that's important that we all need. And for me, to be honest, my version of social care is like just getting out with my husband, like just going on a date night and talking with him because he's another adult and we can have adult conversations and we could talk about like our dreams and our plans for the future without the kids and without the distraction. And for me, that really fills me up. So maybe it doesn't have to be a friend. Maybe it can be your spouse. Maybe it can be like that you go to Starbucks and work for an afternoon. Maybe you just don't even hang out or talk with adults, but I mean like, like you're not planning a party or anything, but you're surrounding yourself with adults, because I feel like that could really help too. So I think the message that I just want to leave you guys with today is like to become a priority for yourself. And for me, like whenever I do these episodes, this is as much for me as it is for you, because as I'm thinking this challenges me to do the same thing that I'm telling you about doing. And honestly, for me, this month, my hardest struggle is probably about my body. I've been struggling with the way that my chest looks for the longest time. And so really just focusing on loving myself for what it is and its capabilities, and just journaling about my body, journaling about why it is that I don't like it, and really kind of like digging in so that way I can break through. And then also, I know that when things get crazy, I become unbalanced, and I need to, prepare myself for those days where the weeks are just like chaos and I just handle them better. So this challenge is as much for you as for me. And I hope that you, by listing these different like areas of self-care that we need to focus on that make us whole, hopefully you can look at those and think about those and see maybe where things are lower or higher. Like maybe your mental self-care is pretty lame right now, and you but you don't need to worry about your physical self-care because you're hitting CrossFit every morning or something like that, So I hope this helps you guys out. I hope you have an awesome Valentine's Day. I hope you tell your husbands if you want that box of chocolate. Otherwise, I don't want to have to send it to you guys. Like, I don't want to have to see like all these sad women in the group, and I feel like I need to send you each cookie bouquet because I can't afford that, you guys. So you're going to have to tell your husbands. But yeah, I hope you guys are having an awesome February. Hope you guys are enjoying all the episodes this month so far. And that is all I got for you today. If you guys like these short episodes, let me know, because I feel like as moms, these might be a little bit more easier to just pop in your ear and do during a nap time or during laundry time. So if you like these short episodes, make sure you let me know. You can email me at ashley@todayseden.com. You can Instagram me. You can find me at the Ash Carroll, Twitter, Facebook, all those things. Just let me know what you love, because I want to keep providing that for you guys. And if you want some ideas on free ways to celebrate Valentine's Day, mainly for your husband, but some of these can also be dual purpose for your kids as well, you can head on over to the todayseden.com/blog, and there you will find the post on free ways to celebrate Valentine's Day. And remember, it's not selfish to love yourself, take care of yourself, and make your happiness a priority. It's necessary. So do it.